kind of fun, huh? Scottish BMX biker took his skills to new heights in Dubai. Jumping onto the iconic Burj Al Arab Hotel, you can see Chris Kyle leaping up 14 feet down from a helicopter onto a ramp, landing on the hotel's helipad. Kyle had to face his fear of heights. Really, after all this guy's afraid of heights? He can do everything for the 30-foot drop to the hotel. Nice, picture perfect. Wisconsin, one man put the polar vortex to the test. You've seen a few of these, but I'm going to show you one because he brought his kid out for this science experiment. Dad showing his son a bowl of hot water, and there you go, tossing the water into the air where it becomes a snow cloud in just seconds. Comes as the state faces below zero temperatures, well below, with large snow drifts, a wind chill factor of -30. As you slow-mo it, the polar vortex has brought the Midwest its coldest air in decades. More coming up. In fact, right now, Minnesota we go. Marathon runners planning to stay in the race and take a close-up look at this face, frozen in time, despite a wind chill of -52. The Arrowhead 135 takes runners, bikers, skiers, or kick sledders 135 miles from International Falls to Tower, Minnesota. No, thank you. All the skiers and kick sledders dropped out. All of them did. They're smart. But 6 runners have finished, and 7 remain on the course. They have until 7 p.m. local time to finish that race.
Looks painful, right?
Yeah, it does.
Dedication. Well, what a birthday gift this is for your newborn. Pizza Hut awarding fans making a special delivery this Sunday. Check this out. The chain will offer 1 year of free pizza and tickets to next year's Super Bowl. Not a bad deal to the parents, of course. This is the deal. To the parents of the first baby born after kickoff at this year's game. Parents should tweet a photo of their newborn with the time of birth, tagging Pizza Hut and hashtagging Pizza Hut special delivery and promotion. Well, newly engaged Chris Pratt doesn't just have love on his mind. He's also already very fond of farming. The 39-year-old actor couldn't help but share his excitement on Instagram after his sheep, Coco, was given the top prize for her wool at the Washington State University Country Living Expo Fleece and Fiber Palooza. It's a long word.
Yeah.
That was happening last weekend.
Good for him. This is a senseless case of animal abuse in Texas where someone shot a goose with a crossbow bolt.
Yeah, it took more than a week to catch the wounded animal, but Grace the goose made it through surgery and she's set to go home soon. John Carroll has the story.
But just to do something for the sake of its suffering or for the sake of your entertainment, I just think is completely wrong.
Just 2 weeks ago, Grace the goose was paddling with this group of Chinese geese and mallards below the suspension bridge on the Brazos River. Then someone decided to shoot her and another goose with a small crossbow.
They saw these birds out with, the arrows through their neck. So we sent somebody out right away to see if they could catch the geese. And all through the week, they've been going back, trying to catch, and just not successful.
But Grace the goose was eventually caught, taken to Rachel Sign at her wildlife rehab farm in Lorena. The arrow, better known by hunters as a bolt, was through her chest, but Sign wanted her to get immediate medical attention and then reunite her with her mate on the river again. X-rays showed that the bolt had nipped her trachea, so the Waco Animal Shelter surgeons worked quickly to fix it.
And so they've gone back in there after removing the arrow to see if they can repair the damage and wake her back up.
Grace the goose was in surgery for nearly half an hour after tests were run. Within 2 hours, Rachel was on her way back to her wildlife farm with Grace wide awake, the bolt gone from her chest. But her situation could have been much worse.
Found next to it, there was a modified dart that actually had a razor blade edge on the end.
Grace the goose will be watched carefully the next few days. Then, on her way back home to the Brazos River and under the famous suspension bridge.
Normally, wildlife can heal very quickly, and we're hoping just a few days before she can go back out with her mate under the suspension bridge.
And there are reports that more than one bird has been shot with a bolt.
Police think kids are responsible for what happened to the geese. Now on the CBS 13 News at 5, record-breaking cold gripping much of the nation.
Like knives piercing through your skin, it's really, really cold.
How long will this deep freeze last?
Plus free housing for the homeless in one of the priciest spots in Sacramento. Who benefits and who pays?
But first, a plane takes off with no one inside and crashes.
Your News at 5 starts right now.
Now, what a story. That plane was being worked on when suddenly the engine started and the plane took off with no one at the controls. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tony Lopez.
And I'm Sherman Roger. CBS 13's Linda Muma is live for us at the Modesto Airport with this bizarre case here. Linda?
Yeah, Sharon and Tony, the plane was just lifted out here by large crane just moments ago, but you can see behind me here where it did make impact with that fence there. Modesto police tell me that a pair of pilots were working on the electrical system on a Beechcraft Bonanza at a nearby hangar. They say they were manipulating the propeller, but it wouldn't start, so they then walked away. And that's when the pilots say the propeller started up on its own, and the plane took off at takeoff speed without anyone inside. Officers say that the plane traveled nearly 300 yards at about 40 miles per hour. They say it clipped a parked car, causing it to change direction. The plane then began to head towards Mitchell Road during rush hour traffic. The plane then hit a building, causing it to slow down, and it eventually came to rest on top of a fence just yards away from moving traffic.
If it was to jump over that and make its way onto Mitchell, we would really have a problem on our hands trying to stop that plane with nobody inside it.
So it's a good thing that fence was there.
Yes.
Slow it down.
Yes, and it's a good thing also that it hit the vehicle over there because it changed its direction. Had it not, it would have gone straight into that building, which has, I was told there was many people inside there.
And that building belongs to DC Air, which is owned by Dan Costa of 511 Tactical. He was apparently inside at the time the crash, along with numerous other people. The plane did cause some damage to his structure, as well as one other and that parked car, but luckily no one was hurt in this case. Police tell me that the Federal Aviation Administration was here. They wrapped up their investigation pretty quickly. No word at this point on what caused the plane to take off. Back to you guys in the studio.
Yeah, Linda, this could have been so much worse thank goodness that it stopped in its path. Thanks so much. A suspected drunk driver is accused of intentionally running over 4 people near a Modesto homeless encampment at Beard Brook Park. 29-year-old Israel Bazan was heard when he crashed into a pole. Several people in the park detained him until police arrived. He's in the hospital right now, but will be arrested on attempted murder and felony hit and run charges when he's released. A judge berated PG&E this morning during a hearing, telling attorneys it's clear safety isn't the utility company's #1 priority.
Yeah, the hearing stems from PG&E's criminal conviction in the San Bruno blast case from 2010, not the recent wildfires it's accused of starting in 2017, although its role in the Wine Country fires is a violation of its probation. The judge overseeing that probation says PG&E should have done more to trim trees to prevent wildfires.
We're not just putting a roof over their head. We are helping them with the services that they need.
New housing for the homeless in one of Sacramento's most expensive zip codes. The free housing, it's blocks away from DOCO and the Golden One Center.
CBS 13's Mugo Digwe is live with the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors' idea to help the homeless. Mugo?
Yeah, the goal is to turn the building behind me into housing for the homeless. As you mentioned, it's just a few blocks away from DOCO, but county officials say that the building is already being used as transitional housing for those in need. Some people in Sacramento welcome housing the homeless at the Capitol Park Hotel building downtown.
Having someplace close that's effective for them to go will be very helpful.
Others disagree.
It's not a good place.
Opponents of Sacramento County's plan to turn the Capitol Park Hotel building into supportive housing say homeless services are already too concentrated in the downtown area. County officials say
that's primarily who's living here now, and also the city of Sacramento has an ordinance that sort of requires that we keep buildings like these affordable.
Christine Weichart with Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment Agency says under the plan, the building will be converted into 134 studio units.
It's not just the housing. The housing is very important, but also those wraparound services.
Sacramento County officials sent applications to the state Wednesday requesting $12.7 million from No Place Like Home, a program created in 2016 to help with housing the homeless throughout the state.
These folks are chronically homeless, are at risk of becoming chronically homeless, and have serious mental health issues or substance abuse issues.
So job training as well as education and behavioral services will be offered to residents within the units.
This is getting people off the streets and into something that is useful and constructive for them.
But it's not a done deal yet. With the application submitted Wednesday, the county will have to wait and see if the state approves of the plan.
If they're successful, we'll know this summer, and then they'll apply for tax credits.
CBS 13 reached out to the mayor's office about the plan. They tell us the mayor fully supports the project. Now, this is just one of 2 buildings. Another one will be built in Citrus Heights. It will have 47 units. Back to you.
Yeah, some good news there, Mugo. Thank you. Community colleges may need to let homeless students who live in their park on campus overnight with no fear of fines. A bill was introduced in the Assembly yesterday to make overnight parking a requirement. Community colleges already need to provide showers for homeless students.
Take a good look at these suspects we're about to show you, accused of stealing 32 Dell Chromebook laptops and a projector from Langston Hughes Academy in Stockton. The crime happened January 21st. The two crooks got away and they opened up a rear window of a classroom to get in. Police need your help to try and catch them.
So hopefully someone will recognize those two suspects in those photographs that we just released today and do the right thing, because if they could go to this school and commit a burglary, what else can those suspects do?
The stolen computers are worth around 12 grand.
Well, we are 4 days away from Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta, and the fans are showing up despite how cold it is outside. Many are testing their football skills, in fact, at a giant interactive park the size of almost 14 football fields.
Fun times. Let's go to Meg Oliver. She joins us live from Atlanta with more. Hi, Meg.
Hi, Tony and Sharon. This is just a massive football-themed park. Thousands have turned out to take advantage of everything it has to offer. And I want to show you this. This is the line for people to take a picture with the Vince Lombardi Trophy. This line goes on and on. It's at least a 2-hour wait. But earlier today, the lines were not that long because it was all reserved for the younger set.
America's biggest sporting spectacle catered to the youngest players Wednesday at the NFL Experience.
If you could rate the NFL Experience 1 to 10, what would it be?
10! Football fans can do it all, from charging through obstacles.
Did you feel like Russell Wilson out there or Peyton Manning?
Yeah, I felt, I kind of felt like both of them at the same time.
Hurling their best Hail Mary. To racing the clock in the 40-yard dash. Kids have ruled this turf all week.
What was your strategy?
Mine was just to go fast.
Yeah, did you go fast?
Yeah.
Yeah, how fast are you?
About a 90% fast.
It's a photo op at every turn. Fans posing in their team's jerseys and selfies with a sculpture of the Lombardi Trophy. If you just turned 6, it can be a tad overwhelming.
Just had a birthday.
You just had a birthday?
Yeah.
How hard was that?
Pretty hard.
Did it take a lot of skill?
Maybe.
Kids of all ages have been known to test their skills here, but CBS Sports pregame host James Brown plans to stay clear.
If there was one event that you could get in there and do, what would it be?
You're trying to embarrass me now?
Come on, what would it be?
So, how old am I now, Ms. Oliver? The one event would be me playing announcer to talk about it. That's my gift right now.
All right.
All I can do is talk about it.
As for the kids, they would rather be running.
And they're still running right now. As you can see, they're going through this obstacle course as fast as they could possibly go. This is just one big playground, Tony and Sharon, for everybody. Doesn't matter how old you are.
And how lucky are you to get this assignment, Meg? So are the kids leaning towards one team or the other? I mean, are they all pulling for Brady or the Rams? What do you think?
Oh, man, they are definitely leaning. I don't want to say too loud because I see some Patriots fans around here, but they were all about the Rams today and last night, too. I mean, it was Rams, Rams, Rams. So I think there's a definite leaning toward California in that regard, but there are some Patriots fans here, for sure.
And Meg, how happy are you right now that this game isn't in Minneapolis? I mean, I know it would be indoors, but can you imagine going out and about in that weather?
No, I can't, because last year it was miserable. Nothing against the amazing city of Minneapolis, but it was so cold. And on top of it, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I got the flu the night of the Super Bowl, so it was miserable. So I'm doing a lot of hand washing here.
Well, you sound and look great. Thanks, Meg, for that. Have fun. Yeah, I think the high was 38 in Atlanta right now. Not bad, not too shabby. Don't forget, CBS 13 is your home for Super Bowl 53. The big game kicks off at 3:30 this Sunday.
And take a look at this. Speaking of how cold it is, a man in Chicago throwing boiling water. We've been seeing these videos all over the place because people are just trying to show how much of a painful weather it is outside. Yeah, they're throwing this boiling water out there. You're seeing this turns into a snow cloud, I guess. Temperatures are expected to drop below freezing over the next few days for 72% of people living in the United States. And that means about 212 million people are in for a deep freeze.
It is. Natasha Chen reports parts of the Midwest will likely experience the coldest temps ever recorded for that region.
I remember always being cold in the winter, but never close to this cold.
Even for those used to bone-chilling temperatures, this week's record-breaking deep cold will be brutal, as a historic polar vortex brings extreme and dangerous cold weather to much of the U.S.
I can't feel my hands. That's what I say. It's unbearable and it's dangerous.
Officials say the extreme frigid air is torturing the Midwest and heading east, dropping temperatures 20 to 40 degrees below zero and shattering dozens of records along the way. Schools are closed and postal service suspended along some parts of 10 states impacted by the bitter weather. This week in Chicago, it will be colder than some parts of Antarctica, possibly reaching 27 below zero by Thursday. And in Minnesota, wind chills could reach 70 below zero.
Hard to take a breath in. It's affecting my lungs a little bit.
The deep cold has already canceled some 2,700 flights across the nation, with the worst weather conditions yet to come. Emergency officials are urging people to stay inside.
Just stay home and stay safe. Don't get on the roads if you don't have to.
Over to Dave now with a scoop on this Arctic plunge. Dave.
All right, today's going to be pretty much the worst because it will be moving off to the east. And again, polar vortex really just usually hovers around the North Pole. This one just happened to open up and slide a little farther down to the south. So that's where we kind of stand right now. These lines are really tight, so that means you've got that wind kicking. That's giving you wind chills where you get them 30, 40, 50 below zero in some spots. Notice it lifts up and away and then tries to get back up toward the poles by the time we go on into tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, we're looking at this. Look, they're going to be a lovely zero in Chicago. Today they were forecasted at like minus 15 with wind chills down into the minus 40, minus 50 degree range there. We're going to be in the mid 60s. And also we got something coming up a little later on. We've got some weather to talk about, some overnight stuff. And we're not done after that. We've got something heading toward the weekend. What does it all mean? We'll tell you in just a little bit.
Dave, thanks. Stick around. Your news at 5 just getting started. Still to come here. Border wall negotiations take two. Can Congress and the president avoid another government shutdown? Details from the first sit-down since the government reopened.
Does anybody pick up anymore? The number of calls Americans are ignoring.
Less than 2 hours from tip-off between the Kings and the Hawks. 6-game road trip in the rearview mirror, but is a playoff appearance in their future. We'll talk about it coming up.
Lawmakers have until February 15th to find a border security compromise and avoid another government shutdown.
Here's the latest. 8 Republicans and 9 Democrats are discussing the issue. While Republicans say a wall is necessary to secure the southern border, the Democrats want to beef up security at so-called points of entry, where government data shows most illegal drugs enter the U.S. This morning, the president did tweet out that lawmakers are, quote, wasting their time if they're not discussing a wall.
In Consumer News tonight, a chicken nugget recall.
We call on Curtis Ming with the rubber concern.
Yeah, we're talking two products that are very popular among kids. Tyson Foods recalling 36,000 pounds of its white meat panko chicken nuggets, which may have rubber. The best if used by date is November 26th. Purdue is also recalling more than 16,000 pounds of fun-shaped chicken breast nuggets because they didn't put a milk allergy warning on the label. Now, these have a use-by date of March 11th. Do you answer the phone anymore? I don't. The robocall problem's so big, a new report says half of cell calls are going unanswered. Wireless phone companies are planning to launch a caller authentication. That feature could crack down on the problem. And with the Super Bowl on Sunday, it's TV buying season. Consumer Reports put out the best Super Bowl TV deals, saying now is a good time to buy.
We did a study a year ago and saw that in the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl, TVs were 22% cheaper.
TVs today are thin and smart with streaming apps built in. What separates the new models is how they look and sound. For people willing to spend around $2,300, this LG OLED TV is one of the highest rated.
So it's got great picture quality, it has excellent sound quality, it has an unlimited viewing angle. So if you were to move off to the side of this TV, you would see the same picture as a person sitting in front of it.
This Vizio Quantum Series model is a bit more affordable, around $1,500, and looking to spend less than $1,000, Consumer Reports recommends this 65-inch Samsung. Most TVs are a higher resolution 4K picture, even though little 4K content exists. And now 8K TVs, which you may want to avoid for now.
8K just doesn't make sense. They're extremely pricey. We're just catching up with 4K content, so there's no 8K content.
Have a consumer problem you can't solve? CBS 13 is here for you. Go to cbs13.com/call Curtis. And, you know, by the way, when it comes to phone calls, let it go to voicemail.
Right.
Let it go to voicemail.
I want to clarify something, because you said you don't answer calls, but you're Call Curtis, so you
yes.
answer the viewers' calls.
We do, but
Just
we
not
do like
random.
them to leave messages.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
It's so annoying, honestly.
Yeah.
So I get it why you don't answer.
I got one from a 916 area code today that was a sales call.
Well, it's spoofing in a lot of cases, too, where they'll take your phone number and change like 1 or 2 digits so you think it's somebody right in your neighborhood, but really it's some schmo across the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. No schmoes for us. All right, Dave.
There's lots of schmoes that are frozen across the country right now. We are looking at a little rain off to the west, and in fact, we'll show that to you. It's going to get into San Francisco right around 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. They're going to get some moderate rain. We're not going to get much out of that at all, and I'm going to explain why here in a second and why that's going to help to open up a wet weather pattern that will go into the first weekend of February and possibly beyond. All right, let's take a live look and see what we have. It's hazy out there. Live look from here at CBS 13, looking back at I-80 there in the Sacramento River, and off to the distance there in the hazy distance is Sacramento County. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, 63 in Sacramento, mid-60s for Stockton and Modesto, low 60s around Marysville. Humidity at this hour is right in the neighborhood of 75%. We have some haze out there and a barometric pressure that's dropping off. So low pressure area number 1 is right here. This is going to come in and it's going to generate a little rain in the northern San Joaquin Valley early morning hours. I mean a little, but a better shot over towards, say, San Francisco and Monterey to get a good drink of rain tonight. This is the one that comes in for late Friday, and that one's going to generate rain and wind and open up the storm door for the weekend. So here's kind of the timing on things. There you go, just about 10, 11 o'clock tonight, moderate to heavy rain in San Francisco. Into the northern San Joaquin Valley, maybe just a drizzle into Modesto, and then it's done. It's out of here. We play the waiting game, and here it comes. Late in the day on Friday, rain starts to knock on the door. This is where we're going to get some winds kicking with this, and that's going to open us up to a winter pattern, which we haven't seen in a while. So be prepared. Tomorrow, we're going to, again, clear the skies out a little bit, probably a bit hazy, and daytime highs above average, low to mid-60s, northern San Joaquin Valley, about 64 for Sacramento, 64 for Woodland. And again, around Modesto to the south, a slight chance of maybe an early morning shower. Gold Country, you guys are high and dry for the most part tonight and tomorrow as well. We'll go with partly cloudy skies for the afternoon or through the day, upper 50s to the low 60s, all the way up toward, of course, Plumas County, partly cloudy, upper 40s, low 50s to mid 50s for Portola. Right around Lake Tahoe, we'll go with partly to mostly cloudy skies, light winds, and very balmy for this time of the year. But don't worry, winter weather's on the approach. Already a winter weather watch in place for Friday all the way into the early part of next week. So we're going to get some snow up there, and we're going to get some rain, and we're going to get a bunch of stuff. But we have to wait for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for that to occur. And that certainly shows up there. So rain late, windy conditions late there on Friday. We start to cool things down, maybe a few thunderstorms here on Saturday, seeing showers both those days. Then we start to dry out by the middle of next week. So there's your 7-day forecast. And right in the middle of that forecast, of course, is the Super Bowl. And right in the middle of Golden One is, of course, Marshall Harris down there with sports. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Dave, certainly you know the old adage, there's no place like home. The Kings hoping that that is true, and their chances to make the playoffs may depend on that. We'll explain why Marvin Bagley may be a huge X factor coming up.
Well, the Kings are finally back in the Cap City after a long road tour.
That's right. Sacramento spent over 7,000 miles in the air on that trip, racking up those sky miles. CBS 13's Marshall Harris flew over to Golden One Center to take on this matchup. We got the big matchup against the Atlanta Hawks tonight. Marshall, how's it going?
Guys, you got to admit, the Kings have to be happy to be back at home. It's been over 2 weeks since they laced them up for a game here at the Golden One Center. They are 25-25 on the season, and that means they're still in the playoff hunt, albeit on the outside looking in. They're 2.5 games back of that 8th and final playoff spot, but with 32 games left, there's still time. The big question, or one of them, surrounding this team is the play of rookie Marvin Bagley. He's a guy that they're wondering, could he start? We saw him get his first start as an NBA player in Toronto, but it's Nemanja Bjelica who remains a starter at power forward because of his ability to stretch the floor. Bagley, he's only hitting 27% of his threes this season, but that's something we saw him working on after practice Monday with sharpshooters Buddy Hield and Bogdan Bogdanovic.
You know, we're trying to help him a little bit. gets confidence up, you know, and just by being a teammate, me and Bogey, you know, I think it's good for when you shoot with two good shooters, and you set a goal, like you try to go 10 in a row, and him to stay locked in and focused and mentally locked in every time, you know, and setting a goal for himself. And when he's shooting two guys that shoot the ball, you know, his mindset, okay, I cannot miss. So he's locking in more on focus, and he looked good today.
So it's a situation where they're trying to get Bagley as a stronger shooter. He's the number 2 overall pick in the draft, so he'll be starting eventually. It's just a matter of, will it be sooner or later? They can use him tonight against a Hawks team that's playing a little bit better, guys, than we saw earlier in the year when the Kings put up 146 points on them.
Yeah, speaking of that, Marshall, with the Hawks, I mean, having the 5th worst record in the NBA, it kind of seems like the perfect opponent for the Kings team needing wins right now.
Well, it's perfect if you think about it like this. The Kings have had real trouble pushing the ball, pushing the pace. They like to outrun things. So you would think the Hawks, a team that likes to run as well, that'd be a good thing. The problem is the Hawks have been playing pretty well as of late. They're on a 6-game road trip right now. They've won 2 of their first 3 games on that road trip. And the Kings, they're 3rd in the league in pace. It's looking like the Hawks are going to be that team that leads the league right now in pace. So if nothing, you're going to see a lot of points scored tonight, Sharon.
Always fun.
All right, Marshall, thanks. And here's what's coming up on CBS 13. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. A Butte County couple got a double dose of good news after surviving the campfire last year.
Yeah, the couple had to leave behind their 5 llamas during the wildfire evacuations. Well, when they returned, they not only found their animals alive, but they also discovered that one of them was pregnant. She gave birth last month to a baby that the couple named Phoenix Hope. Now her owners say the baby llama will be used as a therapy animal at a nearby health facility.
We decided that since she connects with people so well, what a wonderful thing it would be for her to become a therapy llama.
A little bit of hope from all that drama and crisis. And Aldridge says caring for the llamas has been a form of therapy for him and his wife as well.
They're cute, too.
So cute.
Take care. We'll see you at 6.
Good night.